So, dear students, good morning everyone. Today we will see the second session, session 2 of our course Data Visualization Techniques. We have already covered the first session. In the first session we have seen what is called, we discussed about the course handout, and we have seen the COs, we have seen the course objective, and we have also discussed about the evaluation plan. We have also seen the evaluation plan of our course, and we have seen there are 4 credits for our course, and we have seen the LTPS structure 2024. So the credits are 4. Okay, and I would like to remind you once again, we have both the lab component as well as skilling component. We have both lab component as well as skilling component. Okay, so we have discussed in the first session. Let us review very briefly about the content that we discussed in session 1. In session 1 we discussed about the fundamentals or basics of data visualization. We have seen what is meant by data visualization, that means the meaning of data visualization, and data visualization is nothing but a technique which is used to communicate the data which is used to communicate the data with the audience in a better way. Audience, I mean human beings are better. Human beings are better equipped with the visual representations rather than tabular representations. Okay, so that's why whatever data we have, that data is going to be represented visually for better communication with the users. Okay, so mainly we have focused on that particular concept in the session 1, first session. Today let us start the session 2, second session, and let us try to understand some other concepts like the data model and so on. Session objective. The session objective of this second session is you will know various data models and its types. You know the meaning of data modeling, and also various types also you can see. So contents, coming to the contents, understanding the data model, data life cycle, conceptual models, classification of information levels. So let us start with the data model. What is data model? See, we are having some data in our hands. If you have some data in our hands, and you cannot straight away use that particular data, or we cannot straight away utilize that particular data for various purposes unless it is modeled in a particular modeling. It is not possible. It is not possible. It is not. It is not possible to use that particular data. So data modeling provides a method and a means for describing the real-world information requirements in a manner understandable to the stakeholders of an organization. So describing the real-world information. So daily we will come across various real-world or day-to-day real-time experiences or real-time scenarios. So all those day-to-day real-world or real-time scenarios have to be modeled. Okay, so data model is actually a tool for communication with the user, for better communication with the users. For example, we have banking scenario. So how to represent that banking scenario by means of a model? If you don't represent that particular banking concept by means of a modeling diagram, you cannot convey what you are doing, what the banking concept is actually is all about to the users. So representation of data in a particular model is very, very essential for better reception by the users. Okay, so therefore data modeling enables the data practitioners to take these information requirements and implement these as a computer database system to support the business of organizations. Data model. So a data model is a device that helps the users or stakeholders to understand clearly the database system that is being implemented based on the information requirements of an organization. See, just now I explained, you consider a banking scenario. You take the example of banking scenario. In banking scenario, whatever concepts are there, whatever services that the bank is going to offer, or whatever concepts are there, all those things have to be properly represented by means of a model diagram. For example, how many stakeholders are there? So what type of stakeholders are they? For example, how many types of accounts are there? Like saving banks account, current account, and so on. And what is the loan sanctioning policy of that particular bank? Loan sanctioning policy. And what is the interest rates, or what are the interest rates, or what are the interest policies on the loans as well as the deposits that they are going to collect? And what are the other features that the bank is going to offer? And how they calculate the interest. So all these scenarios have to be properly represented by means of a model. So when all these scenarios are represented by means of a model, automatically the user is going to receive, the user is going to understand about those banking issues clearly. So therefore, a data model is a device that helps the users or stakeholders to understand clearly the database system that is being implemented based on the information requirements of an organization. And here are some examples. Just now I have discussed about the banking system. So for example, if you are designing the database system of or data system of a banking system, you have to provide the data for the business process of banking. What are various business processes? Just now I told you what are the policies that they are going to follow to sanction a particular loan. What are the interest rates on deposits? What are the interest rates on the loans? Okay, how many types of loans they are going to offer? How many types of loans they are going to offer? And how many types of accounts will be there? Okay, what are the features? So all that business process should be clearly mentioned. Okay. Next, if you are creating a database system for medical center, a medical center, for example, let us something like hospital. So here you have to provide the data for inpatient as well as outpatient services. What operations that the inpatients, what kind of services that the inpatients are getting, and what kind of services that outpatients are getting, and so on. So these entire concepts have to be clearly mentioned. So here, if we start with the analysis and gathering of details about which data elements would be needed for the business. So to construct a data system, to construct a data model, first of all, you need to do some requirements gathering. So requirements gathering is normally done from users' perspective. Users or customers or patients, for example, here we have the hospital system or let's say medical system. Normally, what kind of patients that are needed, what kind of patients that are expected, and what kind of diseases that the patients are actually suffering from, what kind of services they expect. So all these requirements needs to be gathered. So this modeling concept is represented by means of a diagram. You can see here diagram, real world information. For example, real world information means it can be a banking system or hospital system or medical center, what it may be. And the first step is requirements definition. For example, if the banking system is the real world information, the requirements like what type of requirements are needed are asked by the users. So it may be regarding the loans, it may be regarding the deposits, or it may be regarding the interest and so on. So all that information needs to be gathered from the customers or users or let us say patients. Next one is building up of the data model. So this data model is actually built with the help of users only. Okay. Users will give some valuable inputs to the developers so that it can be developed. Next one is the final database system. So to build this particular database system, we require the experts like developers also. So using developers and users, the data model is built, and finally the database system is going to be established. Okay. So this is about the data model and how the communication tool and the database blueprint are actually formulated. And dear students, we have a small poll question now, a simple poll question. That is, a student table with 10 attributes and 250 rows of data is called data model. Yes or no? A student table with 10 attributes and 250 rows of data is called as a data model. So here we are taking a table, we are considering a table as a data model. So is it allowed or not? Yes or no? Next, real world information requirements. Let us focus our discussion further on the real world information requirements. Just now I told you what are real world information requirements. I have taken two examples. One is banking example, second one is medical center or hospital example. So let us consider, instead of those two, let us consider a sales model, a business model. So normally a business sells products to customers. In a business organization, it sells products to customers. For example, let us say Flipkart, or let us say e-commerce model, Flipkart or Amazon. So such organization, they sells products to customers. So if you want to create a database to support such sales transaction and nothing more, and here we need to keep data to support to business. That means in the real world of this business, data exists about customers, products and sales of products to customers. For example, in Flipkart, if you want to purchase a TV, let us say if you want to purchase a TV, an LED TV, or let's say a smart TV, normally you need to have the details about that particular smart TV, the specifications of that particular smart TV, the pricing details of the smart TV or features of that particular smart TV, and next the pricing details of the smart TV. So what are the discounts, what are the offers that you are offering? Okay. And likewise, all the details, all the business processes, actions should be taken as part of the requirements. So that mechanism is represented here in this particular diagram. You can see this is the sales model. Here product is there. A product is having the product ID, product description, unit cost, unit price, and also how many number of units are there. Next, customers. A customer is having a name, phone number, pin code or zip code, state, from which city he is coming, in which city he is located, and street address and so on. So one customer receives one or more sales, and one sales relates to one customer. Okay. Next, sale. So how to represent the sales? So we have the sale number, sale data, sale total, shipment method, and so on. So you want to understand this diagram. If you want to understand this diagram, you please visualize, or you please recollect how Flipkart actually works, or how Amazon actually works, because you can understand in a better way if you know how Flipkart or how Amazon actually works. Next, coming to the data life cycle. So data life cycle, it has 7 stages. Data life cycle has 7 stages, like needing data, determining the needed data, gathering the needed data, storing the data, using the data, deleting the obsolete data, and archiving the historical data. So these are the 7 stages of data life cycle. So let us quickly and very briefly try to understand what these 7 stages are actually meant for. So this is the diagram. This is the diagram of the data life cycle, organization data life cycle. First of all, it starts from the data need. Why should we need that particular data? And then determining the needed data and so on. Okay, you can see how it is actually represented. It's a cycle. It is, all these stages are represented in the form of a cycle. Okay. You can see finally the data which is not required, which is called as obsolete data, the data which is no longer needed, so which is called as obsolete data, has to be deleted. Okay, and the last stage is storing or archiving or preserving all that historical data. Okay, so these are the seven stages of the data life cycle of any organization. Next topic is information levels. Information levels. We have four different information levels: conceptual, external, logical, and physical. Conceptual, external, logical, and physical. So what are these levels actually meant for? Let us see one by one. So conceptual level. So this is the highest level, and at this level we are going to have the application domain in terms of human concepts. So what is meant by application domain in terms of human concepts? So this is a level at which the users are able to understand the data system. You have to understand the data system. So this is a stable information level. For example, ER modeling diagram is there. ER model is there. In our DBMS database management system, we have the ER model. So normally an ER model is considered to be at the conceptual level. Next, external level. External level means a data model at the external level consists of fragments of the entire conceptual model. So that means each fragment is a mini conceptual model. So if you consider an external data model, it contains a representation of a particular segment of information requirements applicable to only one user group. Next, logical. Logical means the domain concepts and their relations are explored further. So this level accommodates more details about the information content. So the data model at the logical level will be used in the ultimate construction of the database system. And finally, the physical model. This information level deals with the implementation of the database on secondary stage. The physical data model represents the details of implementation. So the data model at the level is primarily intended as a blueprint for the implementation. So it cannot be used as a means for communication with the users. So these are different information levels. So various information levels and their characteristics are clearly seen in this particular slide. For example, conceptual. Conceptual means it's about the information content, that is general ideas, and the data system as understood by the users. Conceptual level deals with the data system as understood by the users. And next one is external. External means collection of information fragments. Okay. Logical means details of whole information content. Physical means details at level of internal data storage. Okay, so these are the characteristics and information levels. And a simple poll question is there: is ER diagram representative data model? Yes or no? Next, normally an ER diagram represented at conceptual level, external level, or physical level. So please try to answer these questions. Think among yourself, and please try to answer this poll question. And finally, the references. The content of this session 2. The content of the session 2 is taken from Data Modeling Fundamentals, the textbook Data Modeling Fundamentals by Paul Ross Ponia, a practical guide for IT professionals. Okay, so I request all the students to follow this textbook for session 1 only, for this particular session. You don't find this content in the first textbook, Ben Fry. The textbook written by the author Ben Fry, you don't find this session 2 content. Okay, so that's all for today, students, about the session 2. Thank you very much. Thank you one and all, and we will meet in session 3 soon.